Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I haven't really done much of an update on my thoughts going into the new NASCAR season, so I figured, why not? I ain't doing anything else. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay. Well, starting with the Daytona 500, was actually got to watch the end of it on I got to watch the end of it, and it was pretty neat. Obviously, it's plate track racing, so the a lot of good drivers are going to get wrecked out, unfortunately, and a lot of my favorites were eliminated fairly early into the race. But luckily, at the end, it looked like Eric Almirola was going to take it home, which would have given Stewart Haas Racing every freaking win this season. But fortunately, depending on whether or not you like Austin Dillon, which I do, so it was good for me. It was good for me to see that Austin was able to pull off the win. And this is the Coca-Cola 600 win diecast. I know this guy's about to start busting out some wins. But yeah, Austin Dillon bringing the 3 car back to victory lane in the Daytona 500. 20 years. Yeah, 20 years after Earnhardt's big win in the Daytona 500. And I gotta say, I was I was thrilled. I mean, I like the legacy of the number 3. I don't think that Austin Dillon has tarnished it in any way. I mean, he's driven the number his entire career, so the fact that I'm glad that he's finally winning Cup races. Um, hopefully, hopefully some more drivers that don't win a lot win races this year. Um, so yeah, you're probably anybody who knows me knows my opinion on drivers. Probably wondering, or probably already knows how I feel about um, the last few races, and yeah, it's so far. Besides the Daytona 500, seeing Austin Dillon win, it hasn't been fun. Hasn't been a fun year at all. Kevin Harvick's won the past 3 races. We're 4 races in. Tomorrow is California. It's been honestly, I'm not as emotionally invested as I have been in past seasons. Don't get me wrong, I love NASCAR and I love my drivers and everything, but I used to get way too worked up over races, especially whenever my guys wreck or one of my least favorite drivers wins or both. Um, so the past couple years, I kind of got used to my my favorite drivers and stuff getting screwed out of wins and watching my least favorite drivers win. So it's not as big of a surprise or shock to me anymore. I almost expect things to go wrong for me. I mean, it's just because I don't know. I don't know if it's bad luck, or if it's just dumb luck, or what. But you know, the guys that have been dominant, 2 of the guys that have been dominant are 2 of the guys that I can't stand. Well, Harvick has definitely been good. Um, I am not a Jimmy Johnson fan. I can't say that I dislike him nearly on the same level as I dislike Kevin Harvick. It's just the fact that I just get tired of seeing Jimmy win. I mean, um, outside of NASCAR, if I was to talk to Jimmy, I'd probably be pretty cool about it. I mean, he's a good person, from what I can tell. He seems like a pretty stand-up guy, but just not a Jimmy Johnson fan. But he's still tearing it up every now and then. He's got off to a pretty crappy start this year. I think his best finish is 11th, and most of his races have been in the most of his finishes have been in the 20s. So yeah, disastrous start to the year for Jimmy Johnson, and on top of that, he's losing lows after this year. So yeah, Chase Elliott's been the best of the Hendrick bunch, which I kind of knew was going to happen. And but William Byron, he's had a rocky start, but he's starting to show promise as well. I knew Alex Bowman wasn't going to be like he was whenever he was in the 88 in 2016 because he's just another Brian Vickers to me, to be honest. Brian Vickers ran awesome whenever he was part-time in that 55 Michael Waltrip car, but whenever he went to full-time in that car, he didn't do anything. Hardly. He didn't hardly do anything in that car in 2014. So yeah. He won a race as a part-time driver, but once he got full-time, he went right back to sucking again. So, but I mean, William Byron isn't Brian Vickers. I think William Byron has a lot more potential than Brian Vickers. I will say that because not William Byron, Alex Bowman. I'm doing it now. I used to get so annoyed whenever people would mix up William Byron and Alex Bowman. I'm talking about Alex Bowman. BTW. Yeah, it's but like I said, this is a make or break season for Alex Bowman. He's only signed on for 1 year, which is this year, and it's basically a trial run for him. If he doesn't live up to the hype, then he will probably be gone. And Tyler Reddick will probably take over that ride. I mean, the way Tyler Reddick's running the Xfinity Series, I wouldn't bet against him. Eventually, like moving up to Cup, especially if Alex Bowman doesn't make the cut. I don't see William Byron going anywhere, and definitely not Chase Elliott. But enough about those guys. I'm not really like super invested in these drivers. I want to talk about drivers that I like. I want to talk about drivers that I look forward to seeing. Ryan Blaney had a great start to the season. Fell off a little bit this past weekend, I think. Not had a good practice qualifying for this weekend at California. But Ryan Blaney had a pretty good start to the season. He should have been the Daytona 500 winner, if I am completely honest. But he got shuffled back late in the race, and it kind of screwed over his chances. I don't think that contact with Kurt Busch toward the end helped him any at all either, unfortunately. But moving on. Great to see the number 12 back. I am a pretty big fan of the number 12 Penske car. This is probably my favorite one. But I love that Menards number 12. I can't wait to get the die cast of it. Especially I hope they make the die cast of the Menard's Pennzoil car that Blaney ran at Las Vegas. That was a neat car. I like that car. He won the pole with that thing too, so it was obviously a pretty fast car. Wish he could have been the winner instead of Kevin Harvick. I will take anybody over Kevin Harvick, even Jimmy Johnson. That's how much I can't stand Kevin Harvick. Eric Jones. Eric Jones has had a pretty solid season so far. Not bad for his second year, and I think he's going to win a race this year. Eric Jones he's the real deal. I'm a big fan, and I'm a big Casey Kane fan. I will talk about him in just a second. I'm a big Casey Kane fan. I love Casey Kane, but I know that Casey, his career, his time in the NASCAR Cup Series might be coming to a close. Depends on if something magical can happen for him. Be nice to have a Truex-like story for him. He's one of the guys like Martin Truex, who's had really bad luck his entire career, through no fault of his own. He's a great driver. Just keeps getting put in these bad situations, and but anyway, like I said, I'm going to talk about Casey here in a second. But Eric Jones he impressed in quite a few races last year, Michigan, Bristol, and he's had, if you count out Daytona, he's had I believe 2 top 10s, and an 11th place finish outside of that wreck fest called Daytona. So Eric Jones, so far, pretty solid start. Looking forward to him finally getting his first big win, which I predict will come at Bristol. That's just my prediction. All right, Casey Kane. I'm glad he's out of Hendrick Motorsports. I am sick of Hendrick Motorsports fans and their crap. I like William Byron. I like Chase Elliott. Jimmy Johnson. Really, I can't really say I hate the idea of Jimmy Johnson winning. Jimmy Johnson, the person, I'm okay with. I just don't like Jimmy Johnson winning. Not a Alex Bowman fan. I don't think he's going to be any good. I think Matt Kenseth should have got that 88 car, to be honest. I wish Matt Kenseth... Yeah, that's another thing. Matt Kenseth. Man. It sucked seeing him having to retire. But it was good to know that he left on a high note. He got his last career win at Phoenix, the second to last race of the year. So that was pretty cool to see. Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat for Kenseth. Wish he was still in racing. But at least he had a better opportunity to get a send-off from his fans than, Carl Edwards. And speaking of Carl Edwards, I'm going to get back to Casey here in a second. Yeah, I kind of trail off on other things, but I'll get back to Casey here in a second. Daniel Suarez, he's not that bad either. I mean, he's consistently, he's probably on almost the same level as Eric Jones right now. I believe it was pretty close until like the last few races for the Rookie of the Year battle, which was between... I mean, Ty Dillon was a Rookie of the Year too, but let's be honest, Ty Dillon ain't doing crap. The real battle was between Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez. Both are really good. I can't say that I'm a fan of Daniel Suarez. I don't dislike him. I think he's a good driver. I was happy for him when he won the Xfinity Championship. I wish Eric Jones would have won, but still, it's fine. It's good. It's all good in the hood. Um, but yeah, I think Daniel Suarez, he's going to be a good driver. Don't know if his future will be at Gibbs, because you got Christopher Bell going to be trying to move up. But anyway, that's a different subject for a different time. All right, back to Casey. Casey left Hendrick. Excellent. Glad to be rid of Hendrick Motorsports. Glad to be rid of the Hendrick drama. Glad to be rid of the Hendrick pressure. I'm glad to be rid of Hendrick, period. The only thing I miss about Hendrick was Casey's sponsors. And that beautiful number 5. With the exception of Casey Mears, I have liked pretty much every driver that 5 car has had up to this point. Casey Mears stunk it up in that one. I'm glad he's not even racing anymore, thank goodness. But anyway, Casey drives in number 95, replacing Michael McDowell. McDowell took over Landon Castle's ride in the 34. Boo. Well, I mean, I guess I like McDowell. All right, he's. I don't have anything against him. Just wish if he would have replaced anybody, he would have replaced David Reagan. Of course, David Reagan did give them a win, so if you had to boot somebody, I guess Landon Castle would be the obvious choice. But anyway, yeah, Casey drives for Levine Family Racing, and he's up for the challenge. He's said he's looking forward to the challenge that's going to come with bringing this team to the top. So hopefully this is going to be another Martin Truex Jr. Furniture Row Racing type story. I really want to see Casey get more wins in his career before he ends up leaving or retires or whatever. And I really want to see Casey succeed. But if I had to be completely honest, I believe that he will probably end his career in that 95 car. I may be wrong. He might. I mean, he very well could go off on a tear and attract sponsorship and get in a big name ride again, which would be fantastic. But if he could do with that team and get sponsorships and help build that team up instead, that would be even better, in my opinion, which would solidify Casey as a driver. He's had his doubters over the years, and it's really annoying. And it hurts to know that some of what they're saying isn't exactly that far off base. Because, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Some of Casey's struggles over the past few years has been on Casey himself. Not all of them. Not by a long shot. I don't believe Hendrick Motorsports was as committed to Casey as they were the other drivers on the team. I don't believe that for a second. Which is why I'm glad Casey is gone from Hendrick Motorsports. Because Hendrick Motorsports is obviously about the 48, and then probably more about the 9 now, and the 24. So, yeah, enough Hendrick ranting. I don't want to make myself look like crazed idiot, but I'm going to be really happy if Casey starts improving. Oh, man. And I'm hoping on to a different driver. Probably the last thing I'll talk about is Kyle Busch. I believe Kyle Busch is going to be around for a long time. I wish Kevin Harvick would retire. I'm sick of seeing his face, but he's probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. But Kyle Busch, I believe he's going to be. He's probably going to be around for at least another 15 years, at least. Unless he just decides to call it quits at some point, which is completely not. Which is not that hard to believe, considering that the stars of the Cup Series have been dropping like flies over the past few years in retirement. But I believe Kyle Busch, he's got a lot more competitive years ahead of him. I don't believe that he will retire, and I do believe Kyle Busch will leave. Well, whenever he's ready to retire from Cup, he will be a multiple championship winning driver. He's already got that one big championship, and I really want to see him win another one. I liked Kyle Busch whenever he was driving for Hendrick back in the day, but whenever he moved to Joe Gibbs Racing, that just made me like him even more. I don't know. I guess I've always believed in Kyle Busch. He knows how to win races. He's got 43 wins under his belt now. And he keeps going. He's going to eventually catch up to Jimmy Johnson. He's already over halfway there on catching up to Jimmy in race wins in the Cup Series. So that's going to be great. I can't wait. If he gets that far. He's won a race every year. I don't want to jinx him. I don't believe in jinxing, but because I'm pretty sure Kyle Busch will win a few races this year. But really looking forward to seeing if Kyle Busch can get the win this weekend and end the Kevin Harvick reign of terror. Not a Kevin Harvick. So yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, my top 4 NASCAR drivers for the season are indeed Kasey Kahne, Kyle Busch, Erik Jones, and Ryan Blaney. I'm going to say Kurt Busch is up there, as well as Kyle Larson. I like Kyle Larson. I hope Kyle Larson gets some more wins this year, and I'm pretty sure he will. I like William Byron. He's probably my Hendrick driver by default. Not a Hendrick fan, but I do like William Byron. And I hope he has success in that 24 car. I think it'd be freaking hilarious if he won a race before Chase Elliott did. Even a rain shortened win, that would just be hilarious. I like Chase Elliott, but I don't have a lot of faith in him, to be honest. Yeah, I believe he's going to win his first race this year. He's waited long enough, but I don't have a lot of faith in Chase Elliott as of right now, as far as being great. He's definitely a solid driver, but I don't think he's going to be that great. At least not for the time being. I think he'll get better and better as he goes, but I think William Byron and Erik Jones, those guys are the real deal. And I can't wait to see how Christopher Bell does if he eventually gets up to this point. But yeah. I can't end this video without talking about the Truck Series. Man. Brett Moffitt, man. I had no idea he was going to... you never would have known by Daytona. But once Atlanta hit, he he's off to a fire start in the 2018 Truck Series season. He won Atlanta. I mean, he had to take advantage of Kyle Busch's misfortune, but he still won, and he bested the field on a restart. Got a pretty sizable lead coming to the checkers. So that was a really impressive win for Brett Moffitt. Big Brett Moffitt fan. Boy. My boy. So glad to finally see him win again. It was his second career. He got his first win 2016 at Michigan with Red Horse Racing. RIP. Moment of silence. But yeah, looking forward to what Brett Moffitt's going to do. Could have had a second win already, but lap traffic and Kyle Busch kind of put the kibosh on that at Las Vegas. But Brett Moffitt's going to have a killer year. I can't wait to see how many more races he wins. And with that, this video is almost half an hour long, so I'm going to end it right here. Looking forward to what more the NASCAR season is going to offer. I'm going to shout out my drivers here. Go Casey King, go Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Truex, Brett Moffitt in the Truck Series, obviously, Matt Crafton. Good luck to those guys in the 2018 season. Goodbye for now, and see you at the next one.